This video is intended to help you understand your MCA data that you'll be receiving in the form of an Excel spreadsheet. At the very top, there's going to be the teacher's name. In this case, it's Bobby Fisher. We're going to pretend that this is a chess class and that chess is taught in multiple classes throughout the school. So this looks at Bobby Fisher's data. The first graph is going to take a look at, hey, when Bobby Fisher's kids took the MCA for chess, how did they do? Well, the graph breaks it down by the kind of class it was. So he has a Chess 101 class and then an advanced class, Chess 201 class. The numbers are the percent of students who hit a particular category. So this chess class 101, 12% of the students exceeded, 56.8 met, 21.6 partially met, and 9.6 did not meet. When we look at his advanced class, it's a little bit more difficult to understand, so I want to kind of step you through it. The first part's easy. 89.7% are in this yellow area, so they exceeded. The next number down, though, it looks like it's in the yellow, but just assume that it's the next color down or to the right. So 10.3% met. See, what happens is slivers get so small, we can't actually put them in here. So the next number, this 0.0 in white, corresponds with partially met. And the last number on the bottom corresponds to the far right, which is does not meet. As you move to the right, this next graph simply takes a look at when Bobby Fisher had his Chess 101 class, what percent of the students had A's, what percent had B's, C's, D's, and F's. Same thing for his Chess 201 class. 32.2 had A's, 41.3 had B's, and you can work your way down. This next set of graphs right here takes a look at all the students that Bobby Fisher had. And when he received the students in his class, the previous year, some of those students exceeded. Some of the kids in his classes the previous year met, partially met, and did not meet. What this graph shows is, hey, of the exceeded kids that he received, how did they do the year he had them? Well, of the exceed students, 38 of them exceeded again when he had them. 11 of those exceeded students met, 0 of them partially met, and he had 1 student that exceeded the previous year, but this year did not meet. And you can work your way down looking at the meets kids and how they performed, partially met, and did not meet. This graph to the right takes a look at how much did the kids grow? Did they have high growth, medium growth, or low growth in their chess classes? In the Chess 101 class, this shows that 59.0% of the students had high growth from the previous year. 38.8% of the students, when compared from their previous year to this year, had medium growth. And then finally, 10.3 had low growth. It is separated by the kind of class. This last graph or set of graphs is a little bit more complicated, so I'm going to spend a bit of time here. The first thing you're going to want to find out is, what is this graph all about? And if you read it here, it says the 2017 achievement level for those who achieved exceeds in 2016. In other words, of the kids who exceeded, how do they do this year? Well, you'll notice that first of all, it lists all the 7th grade teachers and classes for the exceed kids. So for 7th grade, there's 2 different courses that are taught, Chess 101 and Chess 201. The Chess 101 class has 2 teachers that teach it. There's Mr. Fisher and Mrs. Bishop. And the same thing is true of Chess 201. Mr. Fisher taught it, and so did Mrs. Bishop. When we look at the students who had Mr. Fisher had in his class, there were some students who exceeded the year before. He had 35 kids that came into his class who had exceeded the year before, but how did they do this year when they had him for chess? Well, 34 of them exceeded again, and 1 of the students met versus exceeded of his 35. Mrs. Bishop had a lot more students who came into her class or classes who exceeded. She had 57 kids. How did those 57 fare? 50 of them exceeded when she had them, and 7 of them met when she had them. And those are for the Chess 101 classes. You could then look at the advanced section and see how Mr. Fisher's kids did, who he had in his class. He had 15 kids who exceeded who who had exceeded the previous year. But how did these 15 kids do this year? Well, 4 of them exceeded and 10 met. And how did Mr. Bishop's kids do that had exceeded the year before? Well, he had 4 come into his class, 3 exceeded, and 1 did not. You'll see there's 4 different graphs. They look at the different levels: exceeds, meets, partially meets, and did not meet. I think that's about it. If you have further questions, we can discuss those when you come in to discuss it with administration. Thanks.